Summary of Alpha Male Syndrome by Kate Ludeman and Eddie Erlandson. The syndrome, merits and demerits. The business world has an ample population of top-ranking alpha males. In fact, throughout history alpha males have been leaders. Some alpha characteristics, such as leadership, charisma, and drive, can be positive. However, alpha's inherent characteristics put them at risk for destructive competition, anger, and impatience. Alpha males come in 4 varieties: commanders, visionaries, strategists, and executors, each with a different risk profile for negative alpha characteristics. Females can be alphas also, but they do not have the same risk profile as alpha males, and there are fewer alpha females among the managerial elite. Because alpha women are better able to sense an emotional climate, they are more cooperative than alpha men. They are ambitious and seek leadership roles, but they are less autocratic and competitive. Alpha women are more likely to consult, adapt, and take chances than alpha men, though they are as stubborn. Their management challenge is balancing warmth and sensitivity with authority and toughness. Alpha males often participate in an alpha triangle composed of a hero, a villain, and a victim. Sometimes, different people occupy separate angles, such as when an abusive alpha male victimizes others, and relies upon a hero figure to restore balance. In other cases, a single alpha male may cycle through each role. For instance, an alpha male boss could villainously demand unrealistic performance of his subordinates, then see himself as a victim when they fail to execute his plans and, finally, heroically do the impossible work himself. Alphas often play varied roles. Those who reflect on their personas in these roles may be able to recognize their dysfunctional behavior. Sometimes, alpha male executives have insufficient control over their anger, impatience, or arrogance. One handy technique for upset alphas is to analyze the patterns of behavior that cause trouble for them. Consider the circumstances and people that trigger it, and determine if there might be a better way to cope. The commander. The first alpha type is the commander. At their best, commanders are firm and humane. They generate trust and confidence, and give their staffers a sense that they expect great performance. However, their urge for competition can express itself in internecine battles that undermine the organization. Of all alphas, commanders are the most prone to anger. If they heed the way they affect others, and begin to express themselves honestly, including letting people see their weaknesses, they can accomplish great things. Strangely enough, admitting weaknesses can make a commander appear even stronger. People who work with this type of alpha male are at risk of becoming excessively complacent or constantly complaining. Take responsibility and avoid assuming the role of the victim. Examine yourself to identify triggers for your alpha boss's anger. Listen actively, repeat what he says to ensure that you understand clearly. It is critical that standards are clear and that the alpha understands that you won't endure abuse. The visionary. Visionaries are big thinkers, but their focus on vision may blind them to practicality and pragmatism. Their self-assurance can become self-deception. These alphas like to have yes-men around to confirm their dreams and excitement. They may slip into the victim role in the alpha triangle when they feel that others are trying to limit their intellectual flights. When pragmatists typecast these alphas as villains with impractical notions, the visionaries may go underground with their ideas. Visionaries may ignore organizational procedures, undermining the chain of authority to leapfrog their ideas to the attention of higher-ups they think will pay more attention. They are brilliant, and could be strategic, if only they had the patience. The wise visionary alpha male will balance his team with good, pragmatic executors. Visionaries should work with pragmatists to exchange and develop ideas, without struggling for authority. Visionaries need to build support for their concepts on the basis of evidence, not their personal charm. Thus, they should learn from resistance, instead of trying to overcome it. This means using clear, straight routes, not indirect machinations. Those who work for alpha visionaries need to show that they accept and endorse the boss's vision. Express curiosity and stretch your imagination to consider the potential of the visionary's ideas. When he talks, listen actively, restate what you've heard and ask questions that help develop the concept. Point out the facts of life. Let the visionary know what would be involved in realizing his vision, but make it clear that you're willing to do what it takes. Let the visionary's optimism and exuberance infect you, it can be exhilarating. The strategist. Alpha male strategists are brilliant analysts, but often are so rational that they may be unable to connect with others emotionally or even to notice other people's emotional reactions. Their manner of speaking may make others feel patronized, alienated and ignorant. Yet these forward-thinking alphas may feel frustrated when others don't follow their logic. Alpha strategists need to take painstaking people more seriously because they could contribute valuable, practical insights. Alpha strategists also should recognize that if their colleagues don't understand their flashes of inspiration, they must resolve the misunderstanding and address other people's misgivings. They need to try to connect. Alpha strategists who jump to conclusions should slow down, get used to ambiguity and keep the door open for new information that might temper their eagerness. People who have to work for alpha strategists will do better if they come to appreciate how their boss's mind works. Focus on preparation and organization. Find ways to express disagreement that do not provoke defensive reactions. Criticism from a strategist is probably not personal, so don't take it personally. Don't be afraid and don't try to compete. Executor. At their best, alpha male executors are exemplars of accountability, yet executors are not always at their best. At their worst, they can be critical, impatient, unrealistic, punitive and sarcastic micromanagers who focus negatively on details at the expense of the big picture. They can burn people out. Real delegation with true accountability is a key challenge for these alphas. If you are an executor, learn to offer honest, constructive feedback, since positive reinforcement encourages good performance. Seek opportunities to express approbation. Be explicit with your praise and thanks, instead of leaving it to others to figure out for themselves that you do notice and appreciate their contributions. If you work for an executor, take full responsibility, make no excuses, avoid becoming a victim and focus on the facts of feedback, not the delivery. Protect yourself against burnout, a big risk for anyone who works for an executor. Alpha teamwork. To learn how alphas can destroy teamwork, watch The Apprentice. When alpha teams go bad, they become uncollaborative and viciously competitive. Every alpha wants to be the boss. On a team, the alpha virtues of drive, confidence, conviction, and aggressiveness can easily slide into alpha vices. Alphas vying for dominance may drive others mercilessly, argue interminably to win a point and overpower others rather negotiating to settle disagreements. Because alphas often have great personal magnetism and charisma, they may find it easy to coax others onto their teams. Then, because they are so powerfully driven to dominate, they may find it very difficult to accept others as team leaders. Teams usually have hierarchies, and, by nature, alphas compete for rank. So their teams may bog down in alpha sludge, negative alpha behavior that stymies progress, destroys trust and undermines cooperation. As difficult as it is, alphas need to put their teams ahead of themselves. To curb alpha destructiveness, establish team ground rules from the very beginning to define how team members will work together. These preliminary rules should address feedback, debate, dealing with conflict and accountability. Well-executed 360-degree feedback can be extremely helpful in dealing with alphas on a team, because often the alphas are not aware of the damage they are doing or how people perceive them. Toward healthier alphas. Co-author Erlandson, now an executive coach, was a vascular surgeon in his first career. He noticed that many of the people on his operating table for heart bypass operations were alpha males. Why? Alpha males often operate under high stress, with hormones such as adrenaline surging through their systems. Alphas may seem to thrive on adrenaline, but they are at risk for serious stress-related health conditions. Ironically, the evolutionary function of these hormones was to shut down the thoughtful, reflective brain in order to free the reactive, instinctive limbic brain to kick into a fight-or-flight reaction in the face of urgent threats. This is bad for business because such shutdowns may close the alpha male's mind to thoughtfulness and good ideas. The fight-or-flight reflex is not particularly useful in corporate life. Alphas can benefit from stress control techniques that reset their physical systems. Some forms of stress control should be part of an alpha's routine health maintenance regimen. Others are good for emergency use. These resetting techniques fall into 4 categories. 1. Cognitive. A cognitive reset can be as simple as a pause to ask yourself what you are doing and why. Try to catch yourself before you act on assumptions that habitually cause troubles. Pause to find the real facts. 2. Physical. Exercise is indispensable to clear thinking and health. People who think they have too much to do and therefore can't take the time to exercise are very much at risk. Commit to an exercise routine that is safe, non-competitive, and consistent. Include stretching, aerobics, more stretching, and finally rest and breathing. Deep breathing alone can be a tremendously useful, powerful tool for resetting the system. 3. Emotional. Emotional resets demand that you recognize your emotions and pay attention to their physical manifestations. Alphas often repress negative or weak emotions, such as fear. Such suppression can lead to back pain or to tension elsewhere in the body. Being aware of this tension may help you anticipate and deal with powerful emotions. 4. Awareness. Meditation, yoga, tai chi, and other techniques can help improve your awareness. Alphas should familiarize themselves with some of these practices. Alpha males who dominate at the office generally take their destructive behavior home with them, leading to broken marriages and other disastrous consequences. In the alpha household, the alpha triangle may manifest with the alpha male as the villain, the spouse as a victim, and others as subsidiary victims or heroes who try to fix the problem. To prevent this destructive atmosphere at home, alpha males should take responsibility, avoid placing blame, accept their fallibility, and admit mistakes when they occur. In particular, the alpha male should reinforce and reaffirm others, and spend a lot of time in active listening. Coaching the alpha. Alphas can benefit from coaching. In fact, the strongest, healthiest alphas are the most likely to seek coaching and gain from it. If you recognize alpha risks in your makeup, consider whether coaching would help you. Alpha males should hire coaches who are smart, courageous, reasonable, able to communicate, and experienced with alpha personalities.